Mike, is the mic on?
Yeah, just turn them on. No, they're not on. Calling the Caddo Parish Commission meeting for November 18th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Here.
And Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Burrell.
Here.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Present.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Chavez.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Here.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yeah.
All right, you have 10 of 11 present, and that is a quorum.
Okay, we'll ask that Commissioner Chavez will do the invocation and Dr. Wilson will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
All right, all heads bowed. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to come before you today and just give you thanks. Thanks for our life. Thanks for our liberty. Thanks for our friends and our family. Thanks for the colleagues around this horseshoe and for the citizens that we represent. Heavenly Father, I pray that you give us many blessings next week, and in return, we thank you for the week and the Thanksgiving that we have to offer. I pray that you keep watch over the soldiers that are away and they cannot be with their family, and you let them know how much that we love them and we are thankful for them. I pray these in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Will you all please join me in reciting the pledge? Hands over your hearts. Military veterans, the brow salute. We should repeat in unison. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez and Dr. Wilson. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
That brings us to agenda additions. I'm not aware of any unless...
I don't have any.
Okay. Then we'll move along to citizens' comments, where citizens are asked to sign a comment card either online or in the lobby, and then return them to either myself or the president. I believe I've submitted, 4 that we received. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes.
Yeah, and also that if there's a single topic, then that topic is limited to 15 minutes.
Correct.
First person is Tina Kennedy.
I guess right here.
Yes.
All right.
And you can take your mask off too.
Oh, okay. All right. My name is Tina Kennedy, and I live at 6960 Fawn Path. That's Deer Creek Estates. Sunday, November the 14th, I was home with my grandkids, and I noticed a truck with a trailer hauling a four-wheeler parked on the edge of my property. Being that we're a close-knit neighborhood, I contacted my neighbor to determine if she was aware of the truck parked directly in front of her home. Next, I called the sheriff department and gave them the license number, and the sheriff, Timothy Jones, came out, and he told me there was nothing that he could do since it was not my property. I explained the truck was on my property, and he said he would not give the truck a ticket, he couldn't tow the truck, he couldn't do anything. I've been living in Deer Creek for over 23 years, and it's considered to be a quiet neighborhood, low crime neighborhood. We have very little traffic, neighbors walk. We have the fire academy guys run in the neighborhood to do their exercise. Well, hunters are invading our residential neighborhood with deadly weapons, and my grandkids are afraid to play outside. To be honest, so am I. I have nothing against hunters. There are so many places they can hunt. I'm asking that they not hunt near or in my backyard. And please help keep our neighborhood safe. My family is at a disadvantage with no one to enforce the law regarding the safety of our taxpayers in the Deer Creek Estates. So I'm coming to you all for help because it's too close. They're parking at the dead-end street, and they're parking on my property and sometimes on my property, not all the time. And I just need some help to see where to go, what y'all can do to help me. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Next one I have is Marvin Mohammed.
Mr. Chairman, while he's coming up, may I engage them with the parish attorney?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go out with them. Marvin Mohammed. Today I was in the MLK community at my old high school, Green Oaks Performing Arts Academy, and as I was leaving, coming down LaGarden, as I got to the intersection of MLK and the Garden, I looked over to my right, and I saw the Caddo Parish MLK Community Garden. Usually I keep going, but this time I stopped. And as I walked over and looked through, I saw plum and peach and plum trees that was growing. And I was thinking, man, they don't have anything on them, but in a few years, there's going to be some young lads that's going to be trying to get over there and get those plums. I also saw different rows of greens and peas and beans and carrots and relishes. It was just a litany of things that was there. So I want to thank our Caddo Commission president and really the whole of the commission supporting that endeavor. But as I continued, I also got to the intersection of MLK and North Market, which is, if you will, a portion of the Economic Development District. What this commission did, they planted a seed in the MLK community for tomorrow, something for today in the greens and beans and carrots that those many homeowners in that area was able to partake in. But what they also did was, the commission was also planning something for tomorrow. The Economic Development District, the TIF, does just that. We're talking about dollars that will be used in the Economic Development District to help better that area. That 2-mile stretch approximately is in dire needs of investment. I would like to say in SettleTalk.com, John Settle, he mentions that Amazon noted that one of the top reasons why they came to Shreveport was because of the dollars that the state of Louisiana Economic Arm LED poured into the Hunters Industrial Park area. I submit that the same thing would go to us as well, that if we pour money into that area, smaller businesses will come and make that a haven for economic growth and development. I thank you for y'all time, and I pray y'all consider it.
Thank you. Megan Everett.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. My name is Megan Everett, and I am with Parish Paws Animal Rescue and Transport. I presented Monday my case on why I supported the spay and neuter ordinance for pitty types, as I hoped that this start, if passed, would eventually lead us into all animals. I am here today to express my full support of the ordinance for all animals, which Commissioner Gage Watts had brought up on Monday. My reasonings have not changed from Monday. The amount of animals entering into the shelter and the amount of animals being euthanized greatly surmounts the amount I myself as a rescue, among other rescues, are not able to help. I cannot speak for the other rescues in this room, but our rescue alone has transported 450 animals just this year. This number does not count the small transports we have done to Texas, Mississippi, Missouri, and the 71 we're taking tomorrow to Illinois, Wisconsin, New York, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. Commissioner Chavez, you talked about on Monday as a business owner that there's sometimes difficult decisions and unpopular decisions you have to make. I don't think that this will be a popular one either way you flip it. When the posts were made and the media went out, there was an uproar on Facebook. There was a lot of them supporting it, but then you had people who just, the comments, who I tried to inform where I could, all of us did. We're going to have people for it and we're going to have people against it. I really think that the biggest concern is they're just not informed in general of what the shelter does, and just and I speak just as a vegetarian, people turn a blind eye. They tell me, well, I don't think about what I'm eating, but I do think about what I'm eating. They don't think about the animals in the shelter. They think, my animal's not in there, so it doesn't matter. They don't think about Director Clark and Assistant Director Samuels having to make the decisions of who to euthanize and who not to euthanize. They're also not the ones holding, and they're not the ones in the crossfires literally fighting for these animals to get to the places that we take them or to be adopted here. I really think just Caddo Parish Animal Services had such a bad reputation for so long, and while they are coming out to a positive light, so many people still have this stigma that once you go in there, your 4 days are done and you're euthanized. And I will say this, just to conclude it. At the very least, the silver lining is, if somebody didn't want their animal fixed, they could at least become a responsible pet owner, because Caddo wouldn't go out if you had your fence fixed and you had your proper enclosure and you had a proper rabies for your animal. If they had that, then you really don't have anything to worry about. So they would be following the law or the ordinances.
Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to extend.
Yes.
1 minute.
Motion to extend by.
I just wanted to thank Commissioner Young for bringing it up and fighting along with us.
Thank you. Linda Shimwell.
I'm Linda Shimwell. I'm the founder of Pet Savers, and I spoke the other day, and I agree with everything Megan has to say. I want to express a really huge, heartfelt thanks to all the commission members for this groundbreaking and life-changing spay-neuter proposal. When I heard it was expanded to include all dogs and cats in Caddo, I was absolutely over the moon. I had left by that time. What you're doing is brave if you do it, and it's not popular with everyone, but I know it is with the rescue community who works so hard, and with the 3,600 dogs and cats that we have to turn away every year because we only have room for 65 at our shelter. And these animals really have no government agencies to support them. But just think, in the long term, you may be putting Shreveport and Caddo on the map for something really positive, something other than being the 5th most stressed city in the United States or the 5th city in terms of homicides. So thank you all so much for your leadership. You're my new heroes.
Thank you. Candace Higginbotham.
Good afternoon. My name is Candace Higginbotham. I live at 255 Gladstone Boulevard. I'm a lifelong resident of Shreveport. One of the probably the best kept secrets in Shreveport, and there are a lot of them, positive things, is that we have an extraordinary rescue community here. And it's a darn good thing that we do. The average resident does not realize the number of dogs that are abandoned. There are numerous places around Northwest Louisiana where dogs are dumped. There are lots of responsible pet owners, but unfortunately there are far too many who are not. There are people who think they can make money off of breeding pit bulls, and that is one of the reasons that this poor breed has been so overbred and end up on the euthanasia list more often than probably any other. The fact that we have data now from Caddo Parish Animal Services, we have management that has successfully implemented statistical gathering information. It's easier to find your dog or cat if you have lost it there. It's easier to list a dog there that is in your neighborhood that you think is probably somebody's beloved pet. There are folks there who know what the resources are to help you get low-cost vaccinations or spay and neuter. It's a different place than it was several years ago, but we still have an ungodly, and I literally mean that, amount of animals that have been neglected and abused and dumped. They're a health issue in our community. They are sometimes a serious problem in our neighborhoods, and yet it's nothing that they have any responsibility for. We have rescue folks who are very, very dedicated to trying to deal with this problem, which the average person really is not aware of unless you've got a lot of stray dogs in your neighborhood. And if you think, well, it's not in my neighborhood, it's like everything else. It's just a matter of time. As a community that cares about its citizens, that cares about the quality of life, that wants our community to make a favorable impression on potential new business and industry, this is something that we have neglected to look at for way too many years. And it is not something that will cost more tax dollars. It will save tax dollars. We can build more shelters
Move
to take
extend
more
for 3
dogs.
minutes.
Motion to extend 1 minute.
Thank you.
Does that pass by acclamation?
Pardon?
All right. You can continue for one additional
Okay,
minute.
thank you. We can build more shelters and hire more staff to deal with more animals, but that's really not the answer. The answer is community education, but also, and we're not talking about taking anybody's dogs away who are good homeowners, good pet owners, not breeds that are registered and well taken care of and are properly managed. This is the problem of stray and abandoned and abused animals, and many of which end up in dogfighting situations and as bait, that we have to do something about. And other places have done this successfully. We can do this too. And it will benefit us as a community in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Kenneth Kripp.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ken Krepp, 157 Archer, Shreveport 71105. Happy Turkey Day to everyone. I'm going to start out by saying a week ago tonight, Estados Unidos dos, Mexico cero. Dos a cero, USA, okay? I thought about Randy Lucky when the Braves beat the Astros, 5th anniversary of the Cubs. Thanks to Commissioner Talaferro, and more so to Commissioner John Paul Young for attending our Broadmoor neighborhood catfish, jambalaya dinner, night before last, and for taking the time to explain the ordinance about which Candace and the other speakers have spoken so well. They know they're really into this, so am I. Please, everyone, support this. My question to John Paul was, how much will it cost? And he explained, well, I thought, initially a little bit, but in the long run, it'll save money. Not only is there a health improvement, but when the fertility rates go down and we get, when Fido and Molly go on a double date with Garfield and Callie, a few weeks later, you got a lot of little pups and kitties. So we've got to get this thing passed. And I'm excited about the juvenile justice meeting, 11:30, Tuesday the 23rd. This one's by Zoom, but hopefully after that we can meet, because I've expressed my Zoom capacity was borrowed for the Parish Charter Review, and I returned it to its rightful owner. And love to recite for y'all when you have your last meeting. I usually do night before Christmas, but if you want, I can do Grinch, but that's kind of yucky, the Grinch. And the city is doing an election. See me if you want one of these. I've been walking Broadmoor for a week and a half. It's 5 bond issue proposals on the ballot. Saturday, December 11th, 3 weeks from Saturday. The early voting starts November 27th. You can vote for all 5, against all 5. Pick and choose among the 5. Please vote one way or the other. These are important. And it's good exercise, and I get paid to do it, so that's pretty cool. And the public hearing, speaking of the city, if anybody's interested, we'll be here tomorrow at 3 p.m. And other than myself, there might be 1 or 2 others interested in all the 22 budgets. Usually, I'm the only one or one of 2, but that's interesting. And 2 more items. The focus tomorrow will have a story I wrote, probably around page 14, about having the city join the Louisiana Office of Group Benefits. And what I apologize to y'all on the commission, I meant to include commission bodies too. So read that story. And
right.
For inspiration,
Your time has expired.
drive by 187 Richard and look at the oak and the
Okay.
magnolia.
Thank
And
you.
you'll be inspired and be thankful.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, the next item brings us to visitors, where today we have a visitor from Southern University Law Center's campus instructional team. And if y'all will, what I'm going to do is they have sent in a video that we're going to play first, and then there's a speaker in person as well. So I'll go ahead and start that video. And then a speaker will follow me with additional information.
Greetings. My name is John Pierre. I'm the Chancellor of the Southern University Law Center. And I want to thank the Caddo Parish Commission for giving us an opportunity to make a presentation about our attempts to bring transformative legal education to Shreveport, Louisiana. Today you will hear from Professor Alford, who will give you a status update on what we're doing. And we appreciate all the support that we have gotten from the Commission and all the support we will receive in the future from the Commission. Thank you very much. We are honored to be able to be part of the Shreveport community.
There we go. Oh, could the control room move the slide back to her presentation? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation on behalf of Southern University Law Center. I am Deliso Alford. I am proud to be a product of the Caddo Parish public school system. I stand before you reigning from Ingersoll. I'm dating myself. It's no longer Ingersoll. Northside, Lanier Junior High, and Caddo Parish Magnet High School. And I'm home. And the honor that I stand here in just to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm here to bring good news. The good news is that the vision of many has come to pass. We are well on our way with a wonderful, excited, and dynamic leadership team led by Chancellor John K. Pierre, and we have a facilities unit, architect, library, and information technology. But for them, I would not be here also. The collaboration that is taking to be able to bring this to fruition is mind-boggling. I can say those of you who thought about and who advocated for this law school to be represented in the Northwest region of Louisiana, we are here. I'm told I have 5 minutes, I'll probably use 4, but I'm going to give a high-level overview. Board members, you have a brochure that will succinctly suggest what we're doing. I want to be able to articulate it on a higher level, and rest assured, if you have questions, I am on the ground here in Shreveport. Thank you for believing in the pathway for a legal education in terms of in Shreveport and Bossier region. With the determination, feasibility, the proposed solution, and the plan, we are standing in phase 1. In phase 1, we are calling it the semester in Shreveport. The semester in Shreveport will entail third-year law students from Southern University. And I'm going to step back so that I can say something. I'm in the community, and most people are asking me, well, when can I apply for law school? Let me say, you will be able to apply, but not now. It has to be a phased approach according to our proposal because we have accreditation standards that must be met. So as we grow into phase 3 of a branch campus, which will be a 4-year part-time evening program, we will plan to hear from the community. We will have webinars. We will have pipeline projects. We will sustain you. But for now, as it relates to our phased approach, we're standing in phase 1. And this phase 1 is exciting. It's exciting because, one, this is the kickoff. The kickoff includes renovations to the Shreve Memorial Library. And I have to say, I'm so excited about that because I remember being dropped off on the corner to go to the library. Now, on the 3rd and 4th floors of the library, we are renovating those floors so that it would be fitting for Southern University Law Center students. We are constantly integrating OCIS requirements between the library, facilities, and IT. As it relates to our third-year law students, these particular students are well representative of Louisiana. We have Rachel Hughes from Shreveport. We have Allison Williams from Bastrop, Timberly Barnum from Natchitoches, Tanner Udell from Monroe, Jakira Gibson from Monroe, Courtney Jones from Monroe, Aja Winslow from Monroe. So as you can see, in terms of the capacity to be able to fulfill the needs of individuals who would want to attend a law school in this Northwest region, it has come to fruition. The students will be continuing their matriculation for law school. They're going to continue their 3rd year in their final year of law school. They are relocating here to Shreveport. And so in order to do that, when I say the heavy lifting, it takes the dynamic welcoming of the city of Shreveport. We were able to negotiate with the Hilton downtown
our students will have an extended stay at the Hilton. And they will be close to the potential regional opportunities. We had a couple students who had some other needs, so they have housing in nearby apartments. As we matriculate through this particular journey, the students are going to earn at least 16 credit hours or less. And that's why you will also hear us talk about an off-campus instructional site. It has to be an off-campus instructional site until we satisfy the accreditation needs in order to grow into a branch. So with that being said, the students have interest. Now, one of the things that we suggested in terms of the proposal is that if we got our third-year law students in the semester in Shreveport to come here, then they should be able to benefit from the regional opportunities that's here in Shreveport. We have had meetings with stakeholders who are welcoming. We have our students who have had summer interns, but now what we're doing in terms of situating ourselves, we have students who are going to be able to have a judicial clerkship in Shreveport. We have students who will be able to engage in the corporate tech sector. So what is this doing? This is allowing students, people to come back home. This is also saying that we have a vision to fulfill. And I will say, these students are making history. We are making history. And I want to thank you for believing in this vision. Because you believed, we came, and we're here. So with that being said, in terms of the renovation that's going on, 3rd and 4th floor base renovations include furniture placement. The Shreve Memorial Library has been in deep collaboration with us, IT connectivity, student alignment with the regional career interests. That as I think a very good stronghold. It's a stronghold because students are saying, I not only can finish my last year, I also will be doing my bar prep, but in terms of available externships and creating networks and potentially lifelong opportunities to relocate to Shreveport, that would be wonderful. We're in phase 1, as I said, in terms of the next steps. The map really shows how the Hilton is center of the other opportunities that are present downtown. We are now going to continue into phase 2 and phase 3. But as for spring 2022, it is a semester in Shreveport, and then spring 2023, a semester in Shreveport. I'm available. If you have some questions, you can email me, but I'm available here in Shreveport, and we can talk. So, thank you. If you have any questions.
Yes, we do. Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm excited about it also. My daughter, she graduated from Southern University Law School, and while I was in the legislature, I was surprised when they asked on Southern University Day the number of law students that went to Southern. And I tell you, I was really surprised at the number of white students that stood up. Matter of fact, there was more white students in there from the law school than there were black students. So that was interesting to me. My question to you, the students that you mentioned here, are they existing Southern University Law Center?
Yes, these students are matriculating at Southern University Law Center, and they're going to complete their 3rd and final year semester in Shreveport. So this is a continuation. These are not new students. These are our existing students who, because of the connectivity with Northern Louisiana, stated that they should come back now. And so with that, we are providing that venue.
You all don't have a reciprocal relationship, say like a 3rd year LSU law student or from any other university to, partake in what you all are trying to do here to try to build your program?
No, so these are all Southern University Law Center students, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Ms. Alford. Welcome home.
Thank you.
You hit on the main point. You said, I'm now home. How many years have you been away from Shreveport?
Now you want me to start counting
I'm
those
sorry.
years. I don't want to tear up.
More than 10 years?
Oh, yes, more
Okay.
than 10 years.
More than 10 years, but
Yeah.
you're back and you have memories and you're here every day in this community. And you were already working for Southern in Baton Rouge.
Yes.
So to show the commitment of Southern University's Law Center, they moved her, or she decided to come back home to say, let's get this done. We need 10 toes on the
I
ground.
needed to clean my room that I left at home. So.
Right, right. And so, and then you hit on, this is about bringing the children home or bringing the students home, and it's also about retaining what is here. A lot of working professionals, Dr. Wilson, may want a advanced degree. They may not ever want to step into a courtroom. It's about having that advanced degree, and so I'm excited to see it. I'm guilty of being one of those persons to ask, when can I enter in?
I was talking about it.
Okay, I'm very guilty, but it's taken a while
Yes.
to get us here, and even some folks doubted the process. So we're looking forward to doing what's needed to be done. And I just want to say that there are a lot of folks who believe in what y'all are doing. And I often tell people this is not a Commissioner Jackson project. This is a North Louisiana project. We have to see this as something big for
Yes.
our region.
Yes, and to the individual professionals who desire to go to law school, I meet people all the time who say, you know, I always wanted to go, but all of the law schools are in Southern Louisiana. So what I say, you're closer now. We're going to remove all excuses to say, if you want it, we're here, and that's what's going to happen.
And what about, can you just speak briefly? I know we're looking years down the road, but legal clinics that Southern does, like with seniors and pro bono, that impact that it has on the community.
Constantly, and those issues are, we're going, that, I thank you so much, Commissioner Jackson. In terms of trying to make sure that professionals know that they have a fit, we will have continuing opportunities to engage in conversations and perhaps even expand our scope based on the interest of those professionals.
Yeah, yeah. And the last thing is the law library is a big component. Can you speak to briefly what that undertaking entails and why it's so important?
The law library, as you think, the law library, as you know, is a historic building, and the historic nature of being able to come and to be able to have a law school, an existing law school within that enclave it's an exchange. The synergy is there. And I say Street Memorial Library, Mr. Tuggle and his team have really extended themselves in terms of collaborating between local and state government in pursuit of education. So that's what we're also looking at in terms of that model. What happens when local government and state government say, we can come together? We had, according to the proposal, we needed a location, and Street Memorial Library made itself amenable.
I remember the day y'all walked in.
Yes.
Y'all said, this is what we want. And you said, we don't want just the top floor, we want the whole building, so.
Well, we are at the 3rd and 4th floor. Those are the 2 floors
Right.
that we have
Right now, right.
proposed.
Right. So, it's a great thing that we're doing, and excited about it. The community's excited about it, and we're so glad to have you home and appreciate the work that you're doing. And I think there's a reception tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for me.
Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. Professor Alfred, thank you for being here. I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate all the people who helped bring it to pass so far. I know it's in its early stages. I think it's great to have more people with a professional education living here in Shreveport. I think it's great to have more people studying and spending time downtown. And I think in general, it's a remarkable and empowering thing for our population to have access to a legal education. I personally have a legal education, and I find it every day to be a source of liberation to understand in a deep way the rules that I'm forced to follow and the rules that other people should follow. And I know that that will be a source of empowerment for others here. And I hope you expand and teach a lot of people and make a big change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Don't
Thank
see
you.
any other commissioners. Thank you for coming today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Next
I'll
item,
get
Mr.
that
Clerk.
room cleaned.
The next item is going to be to adopt regular session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gage Watts, seconded by Commissioner Jackson to adopt the regular session minutes for November the 4th. Anyone on the board, let's vote.
And that, it passes with 11 in support, none in opposition. And that brings us to special resolutions, where you have two special resolutions today. The first being a special resolution declaring November Homelessness Awareness Month, from Commissioner Gage Watts.
So moved.
Second.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to englobo both special resolutions.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Lazarus. To englobo both special resolutions, the one for November Homeless Awareness Month and the one for Nigeri Kamara. See no one on the board? Let's
Mr.
vote.
President, I do. I would like to make a comment, if I may. Just a quick one.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to remind everyone that this is Homeless and Hunger Awareness Week. And as we are going into a very grateful season of being grateful for all of the things that God has provided for us, I want to remind you that a bench is not a bed and that people are homeless and hungry every day. So for every donation that you give of $10 to Northwest Louisiana Food Bank, it helps to buy $100 worth of groceries. I look forward to presenting legislation soon to address a lot of these benches that people are sleeping on in Caddo Parish. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, let's vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to the public hearing on budget ordinances, where today you have a public hearing for the 2022 operating and capital improvements budget ordinances.
Public hearing is now open for the 2022 operating and capital improvement budget. Anyone from the public can now speak in for this or against this. Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed.
Okay, and that brings us to public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases, of which we have none scheduled today. So we'll move along to public hearing on ordinances, where we do have a few scheduled today. The first being the public hearing. Would you like me to read all of them?
Read all of them, yes.
Okay. Public hearing for ordinance number 6118 of 2021 is an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues for the American Rescue Plan Fund to provide an appropriation for counseling in public high schools in Caddo Parish and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6143 of 2021, an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Economic Development Fund to provide an appropriation of $6,500 for the USA Boxing National Championship and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item being a public hearing for ordinance number 6144 of 2021, and that's an ordinance to close and abandon a portion of the dedication for East Pine Island Road in the parish of Caddo and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That is in District 1.
Public hearing is now open on ordinances 6118, 6143, 6144 of 2021. Public can come and speak in favor or against these ordinances. Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed on those ordinances.
Okay, that brings us to zoning ordinances for final passage. Again, we do not have any today, so we'll move forward to ordinances for final passage. Under this section, we do have, the first item is an item that had already had its public hearing, and that is ordinance number 6103 of 2021. That's an ordinance creating the Amazon TIF District, State of Louisiana, defining the boundaries thereof, from which area local sales tax, property tax, and hotel occupancy tax increments will be determined and used to finance economic development projects in accordance with and as authorized by Part 2 of Chapter 27 of Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and providing for other matters in connection with the foregoing.
Move to approve.
Second. Which one? Okay.
I'd second.
It was moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Young to adopt adopt ordinance 6103 of 2021. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, we've had this on the agenda since maybe August, September sometime. We've gone through the process of having several meetings. The city of Shreveport City Council adopted their resolution of support on last week, and the mayor signed it on the 13th, and so we're here today for final approval. As we heard with the law school, this will also be a phased approach, and so this is just basically setting the infrastructure up for it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Seeing no one else, let's vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to the next item, ordinance number 6118 of 2021. That's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues for the American Rescue Plan Fund to provide an appropriation for counseling in public high schools in Caddo Parish and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
So moved to adopt.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Chavez, seconded by Commissioner Young. Commissioner Chavez, you want to speak to your motion?
Briefly, thank you, Chairman. I know this made its way through the American Rescues Committee and was sent favorably back to us for the full body to vote on. I know I represent Southwood area, and we've had a lot of issues over there, which was the origination of this. I applaud the dads on duty. I know we did a resolution for them and a proclamation. They've done a great thing, but ultimately, if they are no longer there, I know what needs to take place is counseling and long-term, and we identify that as a solution. I've met with Director Lamar Gore or Superintendent, and he agreed that although a lot of people say the funding needs to come from the Caddo Parish School Board, he is working on education, and he applauds us and thanks us that we're working on the counseling piece of this. So I thank you, commissioners, for doing this. And as recent as 2 days ago, we had a situation again at Southwood. So I know this is well needed. The funds will be used at Southwood and across Caddo Parish. So thank you for supporting this. Thank you, Chairman.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I heard Commissioner Chavez say in the end of his statement, is this going to be specifically for Southwood, or is this going to impact all of Caddo Parish schools?
All schools.
Okay, because it still says in the resolution, specifically Southwood High School, and I know we made an amendment during the American Rescue Plan meeting.
Okay.
We changed it in the title clerk where it says in public high schools in Caddo Parish. So we may have to adjust the body.
It's not changed on mine.
It's not changed in the body.
Yeah, on the title's changed, but not the body.
Right.
So I would make it a substitute.
It may have uploaded we may have accidentally uploaded a previous version. If the title's been corrected, we probably corrected it in the body, but we may have uploaded the wrong version to the agenda. So if you give me a second, I can find it, or we can make that correction.
Okay, I was just gonna make an amendment to the motion to include other schools in Caddo Parish.
Second.
So it was moved by the chair and seconded by Commissioner Chavez to amend the body to say Southwood High School and other Caddo Parish schools.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. President.
All right, Commissioner Evers.
In my opinion, this should come specifically and directly from the Caddo Parish School Board. I think this should be in their policies and their procedures as part of their educational commitment. There have been instances that happen at schools as well as at homes that have been traumatic, whereas I noticed they always call in grief counselors. They give them a day off. They do have counselors at each of these schools, and this should be an ongoing situation. And I think that the school board has received adequate funding, the same as we have. from the American Rescue Plan, which I think they can certainly use this to put a consistent and a overall mental health operations within the school board system if they think they so need it. It appears to me a lot of times we bring attention to things that for some reason they have not been a problem in the past, but they should have been a problem. There were certainly some conditions and some things that warranted what we're trying to do here today. So I would not be in favor of this. I think it's specifically under the direction of the Caddo Parish School Board. I think they have funding that can be put in place to make this an overall and a consistent policy throughout the system. So I will be voting against it. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, vote on the amended vote to amend it first, and then we'll vote as it is amended.
Vote to amend, and then we'll vote on the amended one, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the vote to amend to include other parish schools.
That pass.
That
Now
motion carries with 10 in support and 1 in opposition. The next would be then the motion to adopt.
Adopt as amended.
All right, and that motion carries with 10 in support and 1 in opposition. And the next item that we have is ordinance number 6144 of 2021. That's an ordinance to close and abandon a portion of the dedication.
Go back to
for East-
6143.
I'm sorry, I moved right past it. My notes were on top of it. Ordinance 6143 of 2021, thank you, is an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Economic Development Fund to provide an appropriation of $6,500 for the USA Boxing National Championship and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Seeing no one on the board, let's vote.
I'm just gonna make a motion to englobo and adopt.
Okay, what you gonna do?
The one right after it, the Pine Island.
6144?
6144.
So the motion is to englobo and adopt 6143 and 6144.
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Hopkins. The motion was made by Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, want to speak to that motion? Seeing no one on the board, let's vote.
A long day.
And that motion passes with 11 in support, none in opposition. And that brings us to zoning ordinances for introduction by title. We have one item today, which is to introduce ordinance number 6145 of 2021. And that's in relation to zoning case 21-30-P. That's an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code by amending the zoning of property located on the east side of Ratcliffe Road, approximately 400 feet south of South Roach Drive, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C1 Neighborhood Commercial District to I1 Light Industrial District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This item is in District 7. And that brings us to ordinances for introduction by title, where we have two items today. The first being the introduction of ordinance number 6147 of 2021. That's an ordinance to donate surplus property under Chapter 19, Article 2, Division 3 of the Code of Ordinances relative to donation of adjudicated property acquired by the parish under Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2236 at Sec. to authorize the donation of property to People of Praise Incorporated to address substandard housing and provide a benefit to low and moderate income residents of distressed areas and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That's from Commissioner Jackson. And the other item for introduction today is to introduce ordinance number 6148 of 2021. That's an ordinance enacting section 8-37.1 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances regarding the mandatory sterilization of dogs and cats and otherwise providing with respect thereto. From Commissioner Young. And that brings us to work session minutes, where
Point of
the
information.
item that you have today is to adopt the work session minutes from November.
Point of information. Sorry, point of information. I just want to point out that the application for the People of Praise has been attached. So just wanted to, I know there were some questions, so the application is attached.
The work session minutes have, the motion was made by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts and seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Seeing no one on the board, let's vote.
All right, and that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to resolutions, where the first item today is resolution number 73 of 2021. That's a resolution to authorize the Caddo Parish Administrator to request and authorize the Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board and the Office of Mineral Resources to accept nominations, advertise for, accept, and award bids, and execute all oil, gas, and mineral leases on certain mineral interests owned by the Parish of Caddo and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Hopkins. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to your motion?
Nobody said anything. Where is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's in District 12.
Sorry. I thought we was gonna start putting the
That's
districts
what we
next to it.
said last meeting, that we would put the districts on.
Okay. Well, I'll yield to Commissioner Epperson. I apologize.
And my apologies, the districts are on the
73,
fact
that's
sheet.
yours.
Oh, okay. I thought we had cleared mine, and Commissioner Johnson had a concern relative to the one that was going to be up at Southern. And that should have been the one on for today.
Well,
We
put the wrong
cleared
one.
it in the meeting.
The motion.
Well, anyway, I move for adoption.
The motion in the last meeting, I'm sorry, was to postpone this one. I believe that by the time this one actually came up for a vote, you had left the meeting that day, and so they postponed it in order that you would have an opportunity to say your final words on it.
Okay. Move for adoption.
Second. Been moved by Commissioner Epperson, seconded by Commissioner Gage Watts. On resolution number 73 of 2021. Commissioner Epperson, want to speak to this?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. The next item is resolution number 82 of 2021, giving written public notice of the regularly scheduled meetings of the Caddo Parish Commission for the calendar year of 2022.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Hopkins, seconded by Commissioner Atkins to adopt resolution number 82 of 2021. Commissioner Hopkins, you want to speak to that motion?
This is our yearly routine to take care of this business.
All right, Commissioner Jackson.
Todd is new. I'm gonna save the opportunity to make my motion to start our meetings at 4:30. But I do want to note that I would like to see us consider a more, I think I saw the Long-Range Citizens Committee. Several of those speakers mentioned that meeting times are not at the most convenient time, and I saw it at the school board meeting that was held, the Marathon School Board meeting. So just, something for governmental bodies to think about, but I will refrain from making my annual 4:30 start motion today in appreciation of Todd Hopkins.
Let's vote.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. We have no old business on the agenda for today, so we'll move forward to new business where we have a number of items. The first item is for the commission to set the process for filling the District 6 vacancy.
I would like to propose to the body that we actually set the deadline for all resumes to be end of day Friday, that we will have our meeting on November the 20,
I believe you had suggested the 29th.
Yeah, November the 29th. That would still give us a couple days, just in case we don't appoint somebody the first day, then we can come back the next day and try to get it done.
Second.
What time was 29th?
Now, which appointments?
29th is on at 3:30.
Is that all appointments, or?
So all the candidates, if they are interested in the seat, they will turn in a resume
Okay, though.
by end of day Friday. At that time, the clerk office can then collect all of those and then email them out to us. We can then look at those over the next couple of days and then come back, because Thanksgiving is going to be a short week. So then after Thanksgiving, we can come back that Monday and have a meeting at 3:30 to select the replacement for District 6.
I just had a question.
Okay.
We're not gonna advertise like we did years before, prior times.
It
We
is
usually
advertised.
advertise in the Shreveport Times.
It has been, well,
Okay.
not the Times, but the Citizen and the Sun. It's already been advertised.
We actually did send
Okay.
an advertisement, and the deadline for the official journal is so early. We did go ahead and send something in, just
So-
letting people know
Well, I mean, I
that
know
the
it's
availability was
district
happening.
specific, so.
Yeah,
and
and,
just-
and I thought that y'all was gonna do this Monday, some discussion on this Monday, and then it would have been okay, but with the short timeline, I think if someone is really interested in the job, they'll have their resume to the clerk's office by end of day tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Commissioner Atkins.
That must be old, sorry.
Okay. All right, so the motion was that process. It was by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Are there any questions, Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, can I make an amendment that we do that for 4 o'clock on that Monday? Or maybe the 20th, or maybe the 30th? If I can get a second, I can speak to it.
Second.
Yeah, I chair a committee in Baton Rouge and on the Housing Corporation, and so I have a committee meeting that has been set for 10 a.m. And just trying to see if I can get back in time. You know, don't worry about it. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. Don't disregard it. I'll take it back, take the motion back.
Okay. Seeing no one on the board, Commissioner Telfair.
Just one quick question, thank you, Mr. President. So the timeline or the deadline for any applicants for this vacancy is tomorrow.
End of the day tomorrow, 5 p.m.
Close of business, and that's how we advertise it, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's vote.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. And that brings us to the next item, which is to confirm the appointment to Communications District Number 1. We have a request to reappoint Mr. Clarence Lewis to the Caddo Parish Communications District Number 1. That term would expire on 9/25/2025.
I move to in Globo.
Second.
And adopt the confirmations of the appointments for Jackie Lewis, John Robertson, David Houston.
It
And
was
it's-
seconded by.
It's been moved by the chair and seconded by Commissioner Hopkins. Seeing no one on the board, let's vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to the next item, which is to approve commission travel to attend Washington Mardi Gras.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Gage Watts. Seeing no one on the board, let's vote.
I just want to make a request. If Dr. Wilson, if y'all could, for those agencies, see if y'all can set up some agency meetings, one with SBA, not SBA, I'm sorry, one with Treasury, one with HUD, and one with USDA. or treasury. And I don't know if our, what did we call her? What did we call Miss Buffington?
State lobbyists.
Oh, I thought we called her our external. I thought that was a professional name for it. The L word was kind of frowned upon. But if y'all can ask Mrs. Buffington if she could, does she work that up on our federal stuff or state stuff?
Well, state, but we can ask her to see if she has the contacts and resources necessary to do the job.
Yeah, to set up some of those federal agencies meeting. Federal agency
We've done that
meetings.
in the past, too.
Yeah, meet with, I know y'all go, y'all will be up there meeting with the, what's the name? I'll be there, not with the parish, but, some agency meetings would be good. Thank you.
Commissioner Burrell?
While you're doing that, what do you may want to see if you can set up one with the Federal Highway Department.
Commissioner Evans?
And I'm going to give them your contact information, Mr. President, and Dr. Wilson's with the, I got a rep from the Veterans Affairs I'd like for you all to speak with while you're up there also.
Okay. Seeing no one else, let's vote. Commissioner Jackson?
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to an item to authorize the administrator to utilize excess funds appropriated for the 2021 Juneteenth fireworks to be used for New Year's Eve fireworks.
I'd like to amend this to also add for $1,000 for Christmas on Caddo, to add $1,000 for, I mean, not to add, to allocate 1,000. So I think it was 10 left.
Mm-hmm.
And so 1,000 of that 10, 1,000. If you gonna second that? That was my motion.
So that, just so I understand, I'm sorry, that's the money had previously been appropriated for
the fireworks
the
show.
use.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about within that money, taking 1,000 of it and dedicating. Okay, just want to make sure I understood that.
Mm-hmm.
To be used for fireworks on Caddo.
1,000 would be used for Christmas on Caddo.
Okay.
So that was my motion.
Second.
So Commissioner Jackson amended the resolution to include out of the 10,000 that was previously allocated, 1,000 of that would go to Christmas on
Caddo.
On Caddo, okay.
That's not me, I'm not there.
I know, I pushed, the boards are messed up, so every vote that I've made has been Commissioner Atkins. So I don't know who has Commissioner Johnson's, but,
She told me I was in that seat on Monday.
right. But
They were switched back earlier. What? We will have to review that. We'll
think we
we'll
voted
look
to-
back at the video and make sure that they're recorded accurately. Sorry, we did run through that earlier because they switched on Monday, and we switched them back. But if it for some reason didn't hold, we'll go back and review those votes.
Okay.
We'll reach out.
I think we voted the same today.
Yeah, we
Thankfully,
have.
most of your votes today were unanimous.
yeah,
so.
we have, Commissioner Jackson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. No, this is dollars that were already set aside. They went unused this year for a fireworks show. Obviously, we would try to prepare for that fireworks show again for 2022, but basically just authorizes the lot, Edgar over at the lot, and 1,000 to go to the Christmas on Caddo. They're gonna do their normal fireworks show in North Caddo. I think they will cut down a little bit, and then the lot, they're doing a lot of stuff. If you drove downtown last Saturday night, there were cars that stretched all the way down to Fannin Street over to that venue. So it's really taken off in downtown. It's sort of a very good reuse of a vacant facility that would have been dormant in the right in the inner core of downtown. And so they have the food trucks, they have music, and so this is an opportunity to. He reached out, and this wouldn't be appropriated to anyone. Basically, Parks and Recreation would basically just handle the invoicing, if that's okay with you, Dr. Wilson. They would just basically handle the invoice. They would set it up and pay the invoice to them. So that's why it's done as an action item. But it's budget neutral. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Hopkins.
And this was just, it was cut in the 2021 budget from 8,000 to 6,400. And this will bring it up a little closer to, it's been hard to raise money this year with things going out in the business community. So this would help a whole bunch.
Okay. Seeing no one else on the board, let's vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to communication committee reports. The first section is administrative response.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Want to say shout out to our community folks, Robert Handy, Rachel Jackson, and Mount Canaan Baptist Church. We all know that the season of giving is upon us. They've had me working really hard. I know last year it had been said because we were not down here that, you know, we weren't doing our work or we weren't on our jobs, but I've worked more. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning to make 8 pans of mac and cheese and 8 pans of green beans to get over because they had someone who couldn't come through for them on some side dishes, but they did a community feeding today and fed 315 individuals. It wrapped up at 4 p.m., started at 12, and was a constant stream of people. So shout out to Robert Handy. This is his 19th year of doing it. He's been going through some illnesses. We did adopt a resolution to recognize him for his hard work in the community. But even in his sickness and his, even with what he has going in his personal life, he's still serving the community. So I know he's a frequent watcher of our meetings on the cable channel. And so just want to say thank you to Robert. He may still be cleaning up at the place, but I want to put that in the record. We'll be distributing 100 food boxes in the Stony Hill area on Saturday. That's being coordinated by the Stony Hill Action Group. And then I'll be hosting, along with Mount Canaan Baptist Church, Caddo Council on Aging, Grace Project. We're doing a Thanksgiving meal delivery. A lot of folks don't realize that seniors in our community, on that day, they don't get a meal from the Meals on Wheels program, and they don't get the meal on that Friday either. And so we deliver 2 meals on that day to them, and it's a all hands on deck approach. And we have volunteers coming near and far to help support that effort. So thanks to those organizations for keeping it up. We started it because of the pandemic, and everybody wanted to do it again this year. So that knock on the door really puts a smile on a lot of seniors' face. And what I didn't know, and Monica Wright kind of walked me through that process, is that knock on the door is also making sure that, you know, the person behind that door is doing okay as well. So it means a lot to those seniors. So let's make sure that we're thinking about others as we go into this season of giving. I also want to shout out to Dr. Wilson and Erica and the team for putting together the call on the disparity study. Still a little disappointed that the school board is not participating. And I think that, you know, we need to have some political conversations as to why. And so, I'm not getting choked up. I need some more water. Thanks, Doc. I know what that is. But thanks for the call, and then thanks for coordinating the meeting tomorrow with Southern Law School. I know that's been a task that y'all have been working behind the scenes on as well. Starting to get calls about Woodlawn Terrace again. I know we don't have the commissioner who represents that area with us right now, but there's still some issues going on with Woodlawn Terrace about sanitation And there's also an issue of threats to evict individuals if they start talking about the sanitation issue. So I don't know what capacity we may have with regard, because what I'd imagine may happen is that if we withhold rental payments, they may now have grounds to evict the residents. So I don't know if we can meet with the landlord or with the owner of that facility or what, but there are some issues that are going on over there with regards to quality, and you know, we're paying and trying to make them whole for rents. And this is now, the rental assistance program is, correct me if I'm wrong, we're out of the arrearages. Yes. We've kind of come out of the arrearages portion, and we're paying forward. And so if we're paying rents forward, now that's an issue of quality, because now we don't want to pay for people to live in Swallow. So if we could maybe sometime, obviously before Thanksgiving, but sometime maybe next week, huddle up to chat or talk about what potential actions or recourse or, you know, pressure that we could put on them. Obviously, they're not going to change it in a day or 2 days, but they need to know that it's an issue, and they're receiving federal dollars or federal benefit for it. If it was the arrearages issue, of course that would, but the fact that it's forward rent now, I think we need to have a conversation about quality at that point. Thank you, John Atkins, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Initially, I had some strong reservations about the spay and neuter legislation. I reached out to Commissioner Young and expressed some concerns, and we talked about it, and he has graciously proposed a compromise whereby cats and dogs that have collars and tags and or chips would have their owners contacted directly and would not receive spay and neuter immediately. If that animal turned out to be a problem animal and was constantly escaping, then that situation might change. But the fact that a dog that had been properly tagged by his or her owner, or a cat that had been properly tagged by his or her owner, either with tags around the neck or with microchips, as long as they can get at least a pass on this deal, it was much more palatable for me. So you all will see some amended legislation moving forward. I guess we'll have to present that from the floor on December 9th, but that will make it easier for me to get on board with it. So thank you, Commissioner Young, for working with me on that. On a related matter, I received an email from two constituents asking me to read a note on their behalf at the meeting today. So I guess they weren't able to attend, so this might have been in the citizens' comments, but I told them that I would read it. So these are their words, not mine. Caddo Parish Commissioners, we are submitting this letter to the Caddo Parish Commission to be read during the Thursday, November 18th meeting concerning the mandatory spay and neuter ordinance 6148 of all Caddo Parish dogs and cats at large. We listened to the December 15th Caddo Parish Commission meeting as we appreciate a solution to our parish's culture of animal abuse. We have been patiently waiting for over 20 years for the Caddo Parish Commission to present a solution to solve this complex and challenging problem of overpopulation of the Caddo Parish animals. The Caddo Parish rescues and responsible pet owners are already spaying and neutering animals at large to control the overpopulation of unwanted pets in our neighborhoods and community. Now we're asking you to support your Caddo Parish Animal Services Department, and this ordinance will solve many of those problems. Travis Clark, the Caddo Parish Animal Services Director, says this is a step in the right direction. This is a national solution proven successful in preventing the vicious cycle of killing unwanted cats and dogs, and with a little tweaking, this can be successful in Caddo Parish. We are already doing mandatory spay and neuter of strays at large in our neighborhoods. We check with the vet to see if they are microchipped, and if they are not, we spay and neuter them and find them loving homes. This ordinance 6148 will allow the Caddo Parish shelter to do the same so that they do not have to kill innocent litters of unwanted kittens or puppies, and the Caddo Parish Shelter will not have to euthanize the overpopulation of stray animals that it intakes. When you work or volunteer at the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter, you witness thousands of Caddo Parish dogs and cats that are abused, unwanted, and then euthanized. It will change your life forever, and it will indelibly mark your broken heart. We're asking for your full support for this ordinance. Charlotte Ballard and Susan Trahan. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. You heard earlier that the Citizens Advisory Committee for Juvenile Justice meeting will be held via Zoom on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Mr. Clerk, have you sent that information out to all of the commissioners?
Not to all of the commissioners, to all of their appointees.
Okay.
Would you like me to share it just with all the commissioners as well?
Yes, please, just in case they may want to join as well.
Sure thing.
Thank you. Director Patrick Wesley. Hello. I just wanted to bring you up to tell you that it was an honor to work with Miss Mary Murphy on the Seniors Wellness Expo that was held at Galilee last week. She's doing an amazing work in our community. And I am so proud to be her colleague and work alongside you all. Looking forward to our next community initiative.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate you and Oshner's participating.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. Those seniors were super excited. They got a lot of valuable information, as well as on hands to have someone to address their concerns and any questions that they had. And the chair aerobics were the highlight of my day.
Are they doing chair volleyball?
They did. They just did the.
Pat, are y'all gonna do chair volleyball? Cause that gets really competitive. Are y'all gonna do chair volleyball, Commissioner Gage Watt? Are y'all gonna do chair volleyball? Cause it gets kind of competitive. I wanna.
Right now, we're just doing the chair aerobics.
Okay.
Chair aerobics
But no
class.
plans for the chair volleyball right now? No plans for the chair volleyball right now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. We're just trying to get them to
Reacclimated back
I got
into
it. Take it
society
slow.
because
Okay.
it's, you know, with COVID and everything, so
It's a slow roll.
we'll get there.
All right. Okay.
Director Samuel or Director Clark, either one of them? Over there. Since we're talking about seniors, I just wanted to bring you up to say thank you to you and your staff. Our seniors are always so grateful, especially those who are disabled, when you're able to provide service to them. You cannot come out to get what they need. They appreciate you all so much. And the swift response to their complaints are much appreciated as well. So I just wanted to bring you all up to highlight your department for everything that you're doing for our citizens.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was glad that Commissioner Atkins brought the ordinance up about holding the pet owners accountable for their animals. This is not an additional cost, and we're not punishing owners who are responsible and providing the proper care to their pets. A lot of these animals that we are referencing are abused, they're strayed, and they have no one to care for them, but their lives matter too. All dogs and cats' lives matter. Our colleagues in animal control are honorable, and I'm proud to work with them to ensure our citizens and animals have the best quality of life. And Director Tim Weaver, I did not see him.
Yeah, Tim.
Ken back there. There's Ken. Hi, Ken Ward.
Hello, Commissioner. How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. I sent an email to Tim about some huge potholes on Asbury Lane. Are you
Yes, ma'am.
familiar with that area?
We are, yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you would, just have someone to get with me by tomorrow afternoon to let us know how we're going to address this complaint, because they're kind of continuously in this area.
I think you can check your email. You have an email already on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it, Mr. President.
Commissioner Epps.
Attorney Frazier, how are we coming with the proposals relative to the Natural Resources Committee on oil and gas drilling?
Commissioner, we're just waiting for the reason, the meeting to be held. What we're gonna be doing
Waiting
is
for what now?
the committee to tell us the meeting date. What we're gonna do is present those things in a resolution, because they have to be acted upon by the Department of Natural Resources or the legislature.
But you haven't, of the suggestions that I gave you, you aren't working on anything relative to that now?
Other than the
Why are you
resolu-
waiting on a meeting?
Other than the resolution, no. I mean, do you want to present it to the Natural Resources Committee first, and then it comes back here? Or do you just
I thought
want a
that was
resolution?
was that, Mr. Chairman, may I ask Mr. Chairman? What was the understanding, Mr. Chairman, that we had? I read the proposals out. We remanded it to the legal department.
I'm sorry.
We were told the committee.
I'm sorry.
Well, it was my understanding is that I read the proposals. Remember, I read them out in the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Gave them to you. We wanted you to formulate something. And then when you get them ready, you let us know, and the committee will call a meeting, and then we'll peruse it.
Yeah, that's
And go from there.
Well, we're ready to go anytime you all are ready.
Well, would you send us a copy of what you have?
Yes, sir.
And then that way we can sit the meeting? We were sitting here waiting to hear something. I was.
It was my understanding, it was just, we were told to have something ready by the next committee meeting, so, but, we'll get that out.
Ma'am?
We'll get that out.
Okay, thank you. Anything on the status of zoning case 2011P? Notice some activity still at that 7115 Greenwood Road. I saw some berms being put around some tanks, and traditionally when berms are put around something, that means that you are dealing with hazardous materials in the event of a spill you want it to go. Whether they are concreted at the bottom or contained or not with plastic linings, I don't know. Of course, you know, one of our constituents right across the road, the Michelle's, depend solely on well water, and the number of people in well waters. So have you heard anything relative to up there?
I have not, the last I heard, I know that, Mr. Clark was dealing with the Department of Health and, had some information from them. They wanted more information from him, but we don't have anything.
Okay. I'd like to thank Liz Swain with the Downtown Development Organization, her personnel, putting up the banners relative to recognizing November the 8th through the 14th as Veteran Celebration Week in Caddo Parish, as well as the governments of DeSoto Parish, Bossier City. We appreciate her putting those banners up for us, you know, every year. I want to thank her and her crew for doing that. Also, the figures I got so far on the state fair, we don't have the total figures yet on attendance. However, the spending of this year's fair was close to 2019. Of course, you know, we didn't have one in 2020 with fewer people thus far. However, it did make a difference. You know, traditionally, out of the past 11 years, we've been holding the Veterans Parade on the last day of the fair. I went out Sunday, November the 14th, and it was a beautiful day. So many people were out looking for the fair, so for the parade, the Veterans Parade. So that did make a difference, because one of the banner years that we had at the State Fair was that last Sunday with the Veterans Parade, where I think the attendance was 55,000, one of the record numbers. So we're looking forward to next year. All of this stuff will be over, and we'll again get back to having our in-person Veterans Parade at the Louisiana State Fairgrounds. However, it appears as though the spring fair was a hit, and they're looking at doing a smaller version of the spring fair again. So that'll help us out, economic development. Also, I'd like to thank the staff, Jeff Everson, our clerk, Michelle Nation, our deputy clerk, Linda Montgomery, our clerk's assistant, for the virtual recognition that we did on behalf of the veterans via Zoom on November the 5th. Very well attended, a lot of accolades throughout the state, as well as some viewers that was in other parts of the nation. They did an excellent job, a very good production. as well as on Monday's presentation that we did on behalf of the veterans. So we thank you all very much, and we appreciate that. Really was a good production. Also, staff, if you would go to Louisiana Department of Veterans, ldva.gov, and if you would pull up the interment application for veterans and place some in the Veterans Information Center out front. I've been getting a lot of calls about people calling wanting to know how their veteran can be interred at the cemetery. And also, the governor presents a Louisiana Veterans Ornamental. All veterans from Louisiana that served honorably is entitled to a Louisiana Veterans Ornamental. A beautiful medal, gold with a lanyard, or either pin on a beautiful velvet box with a letter from the governor recognizing your service on behalf of the nation as a resident from Louisiana. And if we get some of those applications to staff and label them and put them out front in the Veterans Information Center. I want to thank our Public Works Department, Mr. Tim Weaver, Mr. James Hankins, our South Camp Director, and all of the personnel, Mr. Stephen Walker, for the job that they do when we get complaints relative to trash and litter, potholes in streets, and various issues. They are right on time with it, and they go out and they do prevent in a courteous and expedient manner as providing those services toward our citizens. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to thank all my colleagues, especially those, and there are many of you who have read and contributed to the spay-neuter ordinance that we've been discussing. Pretty much most everybody has made a contribution, and I hope that you can all see your way to vote for this. I don't know how to write a good rule all by myself, and so I'm grateful to have all of your eyes and all your thoughts on the rule. I want to thank Dr. Wilson and his staff, especially Director Travis Clark and Assistant Director Kelvin Samuels, for their work on this ordinance, especially Director Clark, who has been answering my questions immediately by email as if he was expecting them already. I want to thank our legal team, who have very promptly reviewed and improved all the language that I proposed for the rule and told me when I was wasting my time or doing something well. And I want to especially thank the animal rights rescuers and activists who came here today to speak. I hope you'll come back on December 9th. I think this rule could be the beginning of the change that you and my other constituents have wanted to see most of all for a long, long time. Thank you.
Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one thing I'm going to address to Woody. Mm-hmm. If you would contact NLCOG again to secure a copy of the traffic count, revised traffic count that was done by the Tri-American Consulting Group on the Intercity 49 project. I'd like to have a copy of that because there's been information being put out in the public on new traffic counts, and I understand that traffic count was actually revised under this new consulting group after a traffic count was already taken before to try to reduce the numbers to justify not building the I-49 project. Also, the opposition to the efforts of the project, they've been pretty busy because I got an article from the New York Times that used this situation here as an example of racism being used in building federal highways. Despite the fact that this economic development project has been endorsed by the Shreveport City Council, the Caddo Commission, Committee of 100, the Black Chamber, Greater Chamber, Governor Edwards ran on it. Democrats and Republican state officials also supported except one. The Shreveport Bossier mayors have supported this project. And just recently, a letter was sent to President Biden opposing the project. And what this does, it creates confusion that the major portion of the leadership in this area are not for the project. So this is a very serious matter. The infrastructure plan has been passed, and now you're going to have all this confusion as it relates to this project. So again, I reiterate, I would like to see that traffic count because numbers were quoted, and I want to see how it compares to the previous numbers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just one item today. We have our annual toy.
You got something for communiques? Or are you doing your?
Communiques, I guess. Want me to wait?
Yeah, I'll let you do yours later.
Okay.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to comment on the ordinance 6148, the dog and cat sterilization ordinance. I applaud Commissioner Young for introducing this legislation. As an animal rescuer and fosterer, there would be nothing that I would prefer than to be out of business as far as fostering the puppies that I do. And although it's pretty selfish, I do become very attached. So I would like to be out of a job. And perhaps this legislation, education, and the efforts of our CPAS staff, acceptance and partnership with our citizens, Caddo can be considered a pioneer, a trailblazer for the welfare of both our animals and our community. Maybe, just maybe, because of all of the efforts going forward, our supply would no longer meet or exceed the demand of our northern rescuers. I also applaud the many rescuers here present and some that could not make the meeting for their tireless efforts and commitment to ensure that not only Caddo animals, but all animals which come to their attention would no longer roam the streets aimlessly, but eventually know the warmth of a loving home. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Gage-White.
Real quick, I forgot something really important. So tomorrow night, Captain Shreve, #2 in the state of Louisiana for football, will be battling Parkway at Parkway High School. And I am asking everyone to come out and support Caddo Parish School, which is Captain Shreve. My son, #67, Big Watts, will be on the field. So we're cheering them on and hope that they make it to the next level to compete for the state championship. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Johnston. Commissioners, we have our annual Toys for Tots drive underway. We have boxes upstairs and throughout this building receiving toys. And Moffett, Aldi has been gracious enough to be the host again this year for us. So on the morning of December the 9th at 9 o'clock, we'll be there trying to fill up as many cars as we can with toys. And we work in collaboration with the Marine Corps as well. So we'll be taking toys up until December the 7th. If you'd like to make a contribution, we'd be well received and appreciated. Thank you.
That's all?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next item, Ms. Clerk.
Brings us to the President's report.
Okay, couple things. Today at 5:30 to 7:30, State Representative Cedric Glover will be doing a Haynesville Shell Town Hall meeting to discuss issues around drilling in neighborhoods. Also, Saturday at Southern University in Shreveport, Tre'Davious White will be giving away Thanksgiving boxes from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and that will be at Southern University parking lot by the gym. The town hall meeting that State Representative Glover is having will be at the Alphonse Jackson's building. So if any of the citizens want to go out to that, that will be going on tonight from 5:30 to 7:30. And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving because we won't meet again by that time.
Happy
Next item.
Turkey Day.
That brings us to citizens' comments, late arrivals. I have not received any.
I don't either.
Move to adjourn.
Adjourn.
And the sun's still up. I can see how to get on.